네, 오늘은 더쇼 26 첫 공식 방송이 있는 날이고요. 피처 프리미어 게임플레이 관련으로 한데, 그래서 그거 이제 지금 시간이 6시 46분이니까 14분 뒤에 시작하거든요. 그 전에 영상 뭐 올라왔길래 그것만 좀 확인을 합시다. 그리고 공식 방송 대기하면 될 듯? 볼게요.
Hey everyone, Chris Gill here, gameplay director at San Diego Studio. Hey everyone, Chris Gill here, gameplay director at San Diego Studio, and welcome to another season.
잠깐만. 소리가 왜 왔다 갔다 하지?
Hey everyone, Chris Gill here, gameplay director at San Diego Studio, and welcome to another season of Fielding Feedback, the series that highlights upgrades inspired by you, the players. Let's get into some of the awesome new
사람들
features
피드백
that make
받긴 했나 봐.
MLB The Show 26 our most immersive and realistic gameplay experience yet. This year is all about putting more power into your hands, and our new automated ball strike challenge system is a great example. If you think the ump missed a strike, challenge the call.
아, 챌린지
Each team is allowed
생겼다고.
2 challenges per game. If a challenge is successful, the team retains the right to
야,
use
당연히
it again,
생겨야지.
but unsuccessful challenges are lost for the rest of the game. So don't burn all your challenges too early, or you could get squeezed in the clutch. Speaking of clutch, this year we're making sure that clutch matchups between pitchers and hitters are as realistic as possible by incorporating accurate pitch usage rates for every MLB pitcher based on real.
와, 이거 드디어 생겼네? K49, H49 좌상대 우상대 이거 나눠지는 거 드디어 생겼네. OTP 마냥. 저것도 오버롤인가 봐? 옆에 구종 각각 아래 써 있는 거? 스토프 생겼고. 제구는 하나로 묶은 건가? 표기될 때 제구가 아예 그냥 따로 빠져 있네요.
World MLB stats. The lower the usage rate for a given pitch type, the harder it is to locate, giving hitters the ability to punish lazy pitchers who spam the zone with seldom thrown pitches. Good pitchers don't need spam when they're cooking. You know, it's been said that the best pitchers in baseball have a clutch gene that allows them to block out the noise and throw their best pitches in the biggest moments. This year, we're giving you a taste of how that feels.
베어
with
다운
bear
피칭은
down
이야기했었지.
pitching. The bear down feature lets you throw pitches with a little extra accuracy and velocity in key moments. How fast you gain bear down momentum and how many pitches you can save up are based on your pitcher's clutch attribute. But when you use your bear
뭔가
down pitches,
그건가
it's up
보다.
to you. Will you go
무조건
after a big
퍼펙트
bat
투구 되게
early,
뭐 그런
or
느낌인가
save
보다.
your bear down pitches for more strategic, high leverage situations?
그건 아닌가?
Choose your moments wisely because even high rated clutch aces are only allowed to store a few bear down pitches at a time. Meanwhile, strategic hitters can also gain an edge in the clutch by taking advantage of expanded pitch history customization options for in-game scouting. You can now filter pitch history by specific counts, performance against lefties versus righties, and you can even track a pitcher's tendencies against specific hitters. And because our CPU pitchers mimic MLB pitchers by mixing speeds, working both sides of the plate, and leaning on their go-to pitches, these tools are just as valuable in offline modes as they are in online. This year, we're super excited to debut 2 new zone hitting options to help you lock in at the
그게
plate.
빅존 히팅이었나? 그거 생겼다 했죠?
First, we've added a new hitting mechanic called big zone hitting. Instead of having to line up your PCI directly on the ball like zone hitting, you simply choose the zone where you think the ball will cross the plate. If you choose correctly and time up your swing, you'll make solid contact. The higher your contact attribute, the more solid coverage you will have within that zone. Next up is fixed zone hitting. a new feature that lets you focus on a specific part
디렉하고
of the
약간
play
섞었는데?
and keep your PCI there for the whole at-bat. Couple that with our brand new PCI sensitivity feature in ambush hitting, which was introduced last year, and you now have more opportunities than
이거
ever to
PCI 감도
define
얘기잖아.
and refine your personalized approach at the dish. On the defensive side of the diamond, we've worked hard this year to differentiate between the good fielders and the gold glovers. As a result, we've created reaction attributes for breaking on the ball in every direction.
수비 능력치 확장 이야기가 있긴 한데 모르겠다 이거는.
We've also added new attributes for pitchers.
전에도 이건 얘기했던 거라.
Catchers a pop time attribute.
근데 딱히 다른 건 없었어.
Constantly integrating real-life player data to add value to these attributes, as well as enhance card variety and heighten
그치,
realism
팝타임
throughout the
생겼다
game.
했죠.
Because gameplay is so important to us, we've once again added close to 500 new gameplay animations to the show, emphasizing the visual quality of plays on the field. Wait until you see all the new throws you can make in the infield, the arm angles, the off-balance throws. Turning double plays has never been more fun. We also gave our catchers a complete overhaul. With most catchers now setting up with one knee down, we made sure that making throwbacks, back picks, steal throws, and blocks are more realistic than ever. Infielders have new ways to rob hits. Outfielders have new ways to rob home runs. There are basically new animations all over the diamond. At the end of the day, we make this game for you, the community. And that's why gameplay this year is more realistic than ever in MLB The Show 26. Stay tuned for the next episode of Fielding Feedback, where we'll break down everything that's new in Road to the Show. For MLB The Show 26, this is Chris Gill, Gameplay Director at San Diego Studio. See you next time.
크리스 길 아저씨의 게임플레이 좀 다른 점 살펴보기였는데, 제가 영어가 짧아서 이거를 하나하나 바로바로 알아듣지 못하는데, 이거를 일단 한번 정리를 쭉 해서 하나하나 한번 뜯어보도록 하죠. 그치, 스크립트 있어야지. 공식 방송을 시작하기 전까지는 지금 5분 정도 남았네. 현지민 씨는 안 좋던데. 이봐, it's amazing. STS continues to be 톤 딜 투 데이어 커뮤니티 에브리 이어. 데프. 아, 구사율이 낮을수록 제구가 더 어려워지는 거죠? 정확도 하고 구속 올려준다. 베어다운 투구가. 쪼니팅. 아, PCI 고정 생겼네. 엠버시, 그러니까 작년에 엠버시 팅 나오잖아. 그거하고 PCI 감도 설정하면 수비는 뭐 차별화를 둔다 뭐 하는데 모르겠고요. 필딩 피드백 이거 괜찮네.
Hello, MLB The Show fans, and welcome back to another year of feature premieres for MLB The Show 26. I'm Carson, joined by Ashley at San Diego studio.
늘
Hello,
보던
it's
사람들이네.
exciting new year, new us, new sets.
Yeah,
It's pretty fancy. We'll get into the feature premiere format in just one moment, but in the meantime, we will be going live every single week until the week of launch, so make sure you're staying tuned and make sure you're following us on all of your favorite social media websites so you never miss anything that we're about to talk about.
yeah, and we'll be live on YouTube and Twitch for everything. For our Twitch users, make sure your account's linked. You'll get some free packs in MLB The Show 26 just
Okay.
for watching. And format, Ashley, what can fans expect?
Right. We're just going to be very similar to
트위치
last
그거
year.
주나
We're going to
보다.
have a little bit of a pre-record, kind of go through some of the heavy hitters, some of the most anticipated changes, but then we're going to go straight into that live portion on YouTube and Twitch. We're going to go over even more topics, get into depth. We're going to have the
저기
game pulled up.
무릎에.
You're going to be able to ask us questions,
들었어.
and we're going to be with the devs live answering everything.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Super excited to get this thing started today with the gameplay team. Let's get it going. We are here for the first feature premiere with the gameplay team, Chris Gill, Connor Ryan. It's good to see you guys. How are we doing today? Doing great. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for having us.
It's great to have you. So excited to talk about all things gameplay in MLB The Show 26. Chris, you've been here for 28 years. Gameplay director. I'm sure most of you remember him from last year. And then Connor, design producer. These two are touching everything, hitting, pitching, fielding in MLB The Show. And there's some really exciting changes coming this year.
Absolutely. And you know what? Why not start with our fan favorite hitting? Because, Connor, we have something new this year with big zone hitting that's meant to bridge the gap for some of our middle-of-the-range players.
Yeah, you nailed it, Ashley. Honestly, any type of player can use this of any skill level, but there was a big gap between timing and directional hitting and then zone hitting. Essentially what it is as the pitch is coming in, as you're tracking it, you're going to push the left stick to one of 9 quadrants where you think the ball is going to end up. And from there, swing timing, of course, is a huge impact.
So to me, it sounds like it's very similar to zone hitting where, like your PCI, you're tracking where the ball is going in the quadrant, but it's going to be a little bit more forgiving in terms of timing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's the coolest thing about it, too. It's like,
지금
it's not as precise as zone hitting.
그래픽 변화도 없고 뭐 아무것도 없다고
anybody who's really good
변화가
at zone
제대로 없다고
hitting
지금 민심이 제대로 차이 났어요. 우리나라나 외국인.
For some of us, like myself, you get to a certain point where the level that you're playing at, especially competitively, you feel like you're overmatched. And this might be a way to compensate for that, just in terms of getting more solid contact more regularly, right? And so having a high contact attribute is key for big zone hitting, because when you push that stick into the zone where that ball is coming in, you don't have to precisely line it right up. But how big your contact zone is going to be based on your contact rate.
디렉하고 존의 가운데가 필요하긴 했었는데.
The only thing we're doing hitting-wise. Connor, talk to our fans about fixed zone.
Yeah, fixed zone is a new interface. It's very similar to zone hitting, and it's pretty interesting how it came about. We were trying to figure out a way to bring PCI sensitivity
타격을 쉽게 하고 싶다는 유저들이 확실히 많았나 봐. 타격이 어려워서.
And as we were doing it, one of the first steps we took is, well, what if we detach
감도 조절한 거네.
your release from the left stick, and it's no longer going to go back to center. So basically, essentially what fixed zone is the ability to move your left stick around, and when you release the left stick, it's going to stay in that previous location. So you can move it around the zone smoothly without having to worry about that snap back to center.
That's really nice. It reminds me of when we introduced PCI Anchor a few years ago, where you're able to preset where your PCI is, but instead of it resulting back into the middle, if you don't set a PCI Anchor, it's just going to follow through that slow, smooth motion.
Absolutely, and there's a sensitivity that comes with that as well, and that kind of leads us to the next thing, which is PCI sensitivity. Zone hitting and fixed zone hitting both have a PCI sensitivity now. You can basically scale how fast or slow you want your
바로바로
PCI
조정할
to
수
move.
있네.
For me personally, I like having my sensitivity a little bit slower.
감도.
And because of that, I'm able to fine-tune my approach at the plate, and I'm able to basically say, okay, I'm going to control this inside of the plate and spit on pitches away. Because I know that with my PCI sensitivity, I won't be able to reach it.
And Gil, we were talking before this recording, you have a little method to the madness. How many ticks are you going for your PCI sensitivity?
You're going to bring this up. Yeah, I go 6. So I think it's like my older dexterity, right? Like for me, I go all the way to the left and I move it 6 to the right, and there it is.
Speaking of competition, especially from the hitting side of things, let's switch on over to pitching, Gil, and this new thing called bear down pitching.
Yeah, super excited about bear down. I think the community is going to love this new feature that we've added. Basically, the whole idea started just thinking about situationally in games where you see a pitcher might be tired on the mound. He might have thrown 5-6 innings. Nowadays, most starting pitchers only go about 5 or 6 innings before they start using their bullpen. But maybe he knows he's got to get through 1 more hitter or 2 more hitters. That was the idea behind it, right? So they got to bear down to get through those hitters and get through that inning, maybe extend that outing just a little bit more to save that bullpen. And you see examples of this all the time. You know, Yamamoto in the World Series. I mean, the World Series just showed us bear down. So a bear down is essentially, it's a way for pitchers to be able to store these special pitches, bear down pitches. You can only store so many of them. So you're going to use them strategically. That's the whole idea behind it. Like high leverage situations, that could be in the first inning. You could find yourself in trouble. And if you've earned them through throwing strikes and strikeouts, if you've earned them, you'll see a little OSD up on the screen right below all your pitches in your pitch repertoire. And that's going to show you when they're available. use them wisely, I say. Like, it just depends. Everybody's going to have a different way of using these bear down pitches.
I was going to say, I had the opportunity to be a part of like some of the early play testing of bear down, and it's really nice to talk about the visuals.
4개가 안 차 있잖아. 숫자로 돼 있고. 저거 차면 숫자 올라오고. 총 4개 쓸 수 있는 것 같은데.
pitches you earn them. But I was going to ask, how do you earn bear down pitches?
Well, like I said, you earn them by throwing strikes and getting strikeouts. However, the higher your clutch, the clutch attribute for pitchers really is the base behind how often you can earn, how fast you can earn, how many you can earn within a given pitch. And even the top rated clutch pitchers aren't going to have like 17 pitches in an inning. I think we clamp those guys around 4 or something like that within an inning, right, Connor? And so if you're really low attribute, down in 40s or something like that, it's going to be tough just to score 1, right?
For sure.
Or 2.
And then as we talk about building up and the clutch that it takes, what kind of boost can our fans expect when they use a bear down pitch?
Essentially, you're going to gain a little bit more control and a little bit more velo on your harder pitches. So, which, obviously matters a lot, right? Like you want that smaller par, the perfect accuracy region. I mean, the smaller that is, the more accuracy you have. And so getting that a little bit smaller in these situations can be really helpful, especially digging yourself out of a hole.
It's awesome. And I'm excited for the cat and mouse game to continue in MLB The Show. For our fans that played last year, we introduced ambush hitting, and now we have bear down to kind of counteract that, right, Chris?
Well, yeah. I mean, the idea behind bear down wasn't so much to combat ambush. However, and, Connor and I, we talk about this stuff, the gameplay team, and Dre and James and the programmers, and we talk about this stuff all the time. It's like, if we're going to give the pitcher something, we better give the hitter something, and vice versa, right? It can't just be one-sided. And pitchers always have the advantage already in real life and even in the game, because you don't know where that pitch is coming. And if a guy's got 5-pitch repertoire or 4 pitches, you can mix that stuff up. And we give you the tools on the offensive side to combat those things, and that's kind of where I think when you start talking about how our game compares to real life, that we're giving you all those same tools that real life hitters have when they have a plan when they come to the plate.
So this is all really good information. I mean, we're essentially just giving the player everything they need to have a plan, to make a decision, whether it's with big zone hitting, whether it's with the PCI sensitivity, fixed zone hitting. All this stuff ties into ambush. It ties into the new feature bear down. And I think that's just going to make things even more fun and challenging for the player, especially this bear down mechanic.
Yeah, I mean, well said. And honestly, I just want people to understand that is how we go about doing all of this. And we look at all the different features, right? So it's important to us. And I hope everybody enjoys it when they get it.
Yeah. And Ashley, it doesn't stop there.
Let's talk attributes, Connor, because there is a whole lot changing, and I know our fans cannot wait to get their hands on everything from the looks of it to the new attributes we're adding.
쪽에 K9, H9 좌우 추가되고
our new UI
리액션
player cards.
전후 좌우
it's really
추가되고
been a full team effort, and we're very excited to
합타임 능력
have
추가되고
reached where we're at. When it comes to attributes, like you were saying, the player card's been completely revamped. There was a lot of discussion about, okay, why doesn't this attribute impact Diamond Dynasty, but it's displaying here? Why doesn't this attribute impact other areas and it's displaying here? Well, now we completely revamped it. And what you're going to notice is that the attributes showing in that mode are the attributes that matter.
That is huge. So depending on which mode you're playing, the card is going to show you which ones are mattering. Obviously, a little bit more maybe for Diamond Dynasty, a little bit less for offline play.
Absolutely. And we've also added in additional things like quirks into the player card, kind of consolidating all of the information and reworking the way it's being presented to the players to help them make the best decisions for their team.
Yeah, the presentation is really interesting. Our fans are very used to the vertical columns, attribute, but we have a different way of displaying it where it's almost like categorical, where you have contact and then your splits, power and then your splits.
Yeah, essentially the 5 tools. And from there, what you're also going to notice is that it's no longer, we used to have orange for batting and I think green for fielding, and we broke away from that, and now it's scaled based on what range you're in. So the best of the best are going to be green.
The attribute itself, right?
Yeah, the attribute itself is scaling.
But I am ready to hear about the pitcher changes with these attributes, because it's really exciting.
Hits per 9 is where we're going to start. We've added in hits per 9 splits, and on I like to approach this from the hitter side of things. And what does
근데 K9에 H9이 좌우 나누는 건 난 되게 좋은 것 같은데.
counteract, it works against contact.
And remind our fans, what is contact?
타자만 좌우가 갈려
is your
있고
inner PCI.
투수는 안 갈려 있었잖아.
It increases the size of your inner PCI and also gives you a more forgiving swing timing window. So that's what contact does, and hits per nine is doing
PCI 영향 주네.
So what it's doing is trying to shrink that batter's PCI, trying to shrink down that timing window that they have to make solid contact. And what you're going to notice is that now we have splits that we're pulling from real life data. So hits per nine is now hits per nine left and then hits per nine right. And we're able to differentiate how these players are playing in real life in our game now.
And it doesn't stop there. Pitching has a complete new look with these attributes, but we're still doing more attribute changes, Chris. We're adding direction to reaction for our fielders.
Yeah, we have a direction attribute going to your right, to your left, going back and going forward. It's pretty self-explanatory, but the cool thing is, again, we'll go back to how am I building my team?
Yeah.
You know, and if I want to strengthen my left side of my infield or my right side of my infield, how I'm playing, who I'm playing. If this guy's good going to his right and his left, then I might have to worry about it. But if he's terrible going to his right, I might have another guy who might hit not as good, but he's good going both directions. I'm going to want that guy in the lineup, right? Because essentially what that's going to do is affect his start transition, right? So the jump that I get is going to be directly related to that reaction.
Which is something we talked about a lot last year with some of those infield changes. So this is just another level of squad building, of realism with the defenders, and it doesn't stop there. We actually switched a quirk with catchers that was pop time. That's now a scalable attribute.
Yeah, and rightfully so. I mean, these guys separate themselves behind the plate for how quick their feet are, right? And how quick their exchange is. And essentially pop time is the time it takes from the ball, when they catch the ball, the catcher, until the ball hits the glove at second base. That's how you calculate pop time. The average in the big leagues right now is probably around 1.95, 1.96, something like that. And you're going to find a big chunk of guys that are right around that time, right? But the guys that really stick out, the best of the best, those guys are going to get like down to the 1.7 something. So we're going to scale this from 99 to 0, right? In terms of giving that attribute, we'll apply it appropriately. So based on their pop times, you will see a difference in how quickly they get rid of the ball.
You hear that, everyone? I'm going to have a catcher with the best pop time. Don't run on me.
It's going to be really cool. Yeah, don't run on Ashley. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of changes that fans should be excited for. Like, this is the most in-depth we've been able to go thanks to these attribute inclusions, right?
Right, exactly.
Which, you know, easy W there. Right. Well done.
Let's talk about even more realism. As always, we love preaching. We're a baseball simulation. We love to be as real as possible. So, Gil, can you just touch on how we're improving that this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think this year we're close to around 600, maybe I think a little bit more than that, new animations added to gameplay very specifically. And that does not include like the batter home run celebrations or pitcher specific animations, things like that. There's tons more. Shout out to the animation team, Chris Clements and all of his guys. These guys work tirelessly to get us, you know, the smoothest and best looking, you know, animations that look as real life as possible, and the programmers that actually get that stuff in there. This year we focused on a few different things. Just like every year, efficiency is really important to us, especially on the defensive side. So we do audits every year, and we try to look at, like, what are the pain points? Is it guys not getting rid of the ball in the hole quick enough on certain angles? We do all of our throws from very specific angles, and then we get variety from those, and then we get distances from those. So casual situations. Does he have time? Does he not have time? So you understand there's so many for every single catch that we have in every direction. There were a few that we wanted to actually get to have a little more flair, right, on some of these plays that we could actually add on to some of the higher rated shortstop, second basemen, third basemen, stuff like that, right? We added more Rob home runs. Balls can bounce off the ball in really odd angles. So transitional animations, there's hundreds of those where you're going in and cleaning those things up, so the game just looks
뭔가 좀 그래픽 변화나 엔진 변화를 줄 수 있는 상황이 아닌 것 같아.
animations played within a catch and a throw sequence.
그러니까 지금 몸 비틀게 하는
Covering the
거야.
bases on the run, catching it makes them more efficient. So if I'm running to a base, the throw is now allowed to go from all the angles instead of just the few that we had before. But the most important is the catcher stuff, which I think is really cool, right? So going back, we talked about pop time with the catcher, but we got a whole overhaul of catcher animations with knee down. But the majority of catchers now are knee down catchers. We got all new catcher animations from the knee down pose. So back picks, steal throws, throwbacks to the pitcher, block balls, right? All new. And so what that means is that it just looks like the visual fidelity of just watching the game. You're in that pitcher catcher view all the time. Hopefully nobody even notices because it just looks like real life.
Right, just one smooth motion.
Yeah, I like you talking about the audit that you guys do every year, right? Like you're always finding a way to make the game smoother, the visual fidelity, making every defense play efficient. And I think fans, they come to expect it, but there's a lot of good work that goes in there that they don't even notice. So,
well, I mean, the efficiency thing is really important too to understand because of how we scale based on attributes, right? And you may not get the most efficient throw if you have a low-rated player in that position, and that's super important to understand, right? That's what I love about all this is like the balance of the game, balancing it for all these different things.
It's awesome.
And having all these new features, to me, I'm stoked because it can get more real than it is this year.
Right. Yeah. I know our Diamond Dynasty fans especially love that. This even more nuance and strategy and creativeness behind the animations, which cards they're choosing. We talked earlier about the reaction now splitting into 4 different ways, adding to more animations, just more flexibility and more decision making when it comes on who are you manning your outfield, your infield behind the plate. We know we're always trying to make defense matter for our fans.
For sure. And it doesn't stop there. There's some other changes that the MLB has had that they're including. That we also have in our game. It starts with pitch comp, right?
Yeah, pitch comp is the first one. That's pretty straightforward. We've already given you the animations essentially with the catcher, putting his glove over his hand and putting his hand on the pitch comp and giving the sign to the pitcher.
Sinker. Low inside.
But now we have the audio part of that. So you have options. You can have it you can have it come out of the mic on the controller, or you can have it come out of the TV, and you have that option. You can turn it off if it's not your cup of tea.
Yeah, and then of course another one I've been having a blast play testing with is the ABS system.
ABS is pretty cool. It's essentially exactly what I'm sure everybody already knows. ABS is now coming to Major League Baseball, the automatic ball and strike system. You're going to be defaulted to personalized umpires, which means they can make mistakes, and so it'll be up to you whether you want to challenge that call or not. You get 2 challenges. If you get it right, you retain that challenge. If you get it wrong, you lose it. You can challenge while you're pitching. You can challenge while you're hitting. So you have that option. It's for offline modes. We are not going to have it in competitive style gameplay because it's already perfect umpires.
Right.
But it's a really fun way to grind and play when you're playing offline.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that. Like I said, I've been play testing it, and it's when you think the ump makes the wrong call, you have like a split second to decide, and it's so fun.
Carson loves this new feature.
Yeah, game within the game. I love it. It does not stop there. We do have a whole live portion, Ashley, where we're going to dive into so many changes. I know people are excited to hear about some online stuff that's coming up. And then, of course, we're going to run through some pitch history options, player lock hit variety, the new fielding difficulty, displays, and then some of the D-pad rework stuff we're always trying to make more efficient.
And one of my favorite co-op changes.
And co-op changes for Ashley. I think it's time to get our hands on a dev kit and keep this thing going.
Let's do it.
Go.
2, 1, you're live.
Hello, MLB The Show fans. Welcome back. This is live. I'm sick of you guys always saying we're pre-recorded. We were pre-recorded. We are live now. We are 36 days away from early access. I'm Carson.
I am Ashley, and you just got a first look of some of the new features in gameplay.
Yeah, we talked about bear down, we talked about big zone hitting, and we even got a glimpse at some attribute stuff. We're going to talk more about that during this live portion.
Right. From here on out, you're going to see extended gameplay. We're going to tie a bow on bear down and big zone hitting while answering any questions you might have in chat. And even more importantly, might I say, this is the one part I'm most looking forward to. We're going to dive even deeper into attributes, what's new, what was removed that a lot of you notice, and I can't wait.
It's going to be great. Don't forget, if you're watching on Twitch, link your accounts. Make sure you get those Twitch
이게
drops.
라이브는 아니네.
26. You're not going to
그냥 라이브로
we're going to get up to
전에 해놨던
3
영상
today.
틀어주는 거네.
So if you watch and you're linked, you're going to have 3 packs off the jump when MLB The 26 comes out.
But let's get right into it. We are rejoined by design producer Connor Ryan, our director of gameplay Chris Gill, and not to mention we have Dre and James to the side. They'll be playing while we're talking.
Yeah, I think it's time to, get things started and show them what Bear Down looks like live.
Thanks for having us back.
Yeah, of course.
And I appreciate whoever turned the heat on.
It's getting a little chilly in here.
Connor still got his big parka on. I took mine off, but last year I remember doing this and people were commenting it must be really cold in San Diego. It's not. It's really nice. But in this room, it was about 10 degrees.
Yeah, for sure. We got the temperature dialed, so I think we're ready to get into the game, right?
Right. Let's pull up, play the game. We're going to start with bear down pitching. As you can see, we have some bear down pitches tallied. But to remind our fans, they've just saw this for the first time like 20 minutes or so ago. What are the main takeaways of bear down, Gil?
Yeah, so Bear Down's a really interesting new feature that I think the community is going to love. It just kind of stems really from, we look at pitchers in real life, their clutch rating, and like guys that can perform in really high leverage, high situations that are impactful, right? And guys that basically bear down. That's where the name comes from. So we're looking at your clutch rating, and that's going to kind of dictate, how fast they can earn these bear down pitches within any given inning. Like I kind of said in the pre-record, you're not going to be earning, 5, 6, 7, 8 pitches an inning. This is pretty well balanced, we think, in terms of having a high clutch rating as a pitcher. You're going to be able to earn clutch pitches or bear down pitches by how many strikes you throw and how many strikeouts you get. And so you can do that throughout each inning. And the idea behind it really is to kind of strategically use them in situations where, you might need them early in a game. Like there are situations you guys have all seen. Everybody that watches baseball, they know that you can run into a buzzsaw in the first inning. You could load the bases with 2 outs. You might need to get that crucial out, right? And if I've earned a couple through that inning of like maybe loading the bases somehow, I've thrown some strikes, got a couple strikeouts. Now I have the ability to use those to get that last out.
And we just saw that right there on the game.
Attaboy, Dre, good job.
Yeah.
And Dre, if you
Dre was in a jam and he bared down and got out of the inning.
Dre, if you want to just turn on unlimited bear downs.
Let's go to the live the cam.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's really cool. It's like just being a fan of baseball and just watching baseball. I love those high leverage situations, and they're
the most
very
exciting and critical.
We
saw Yamamoto in the World Series.
Right, and then you go down the list, and you can always kind of like name those guys.
확실히 그 베어다운 피칭 얘기할 때 야마모토 월드 시리즈 얘기를 되게 많이 하네.
I need to get through this inning because our bullpen is kind of worn out. I only got 2 guys up there, and we really need to get through this inning so we can save some arms, right? And I think that's the part that's really interesting to me because it's about how you're managing your bullpen. And most of our players that play this game have a system, especially when they play competitively, of like, how long am I going to let my starter last? And when am I going to bring this guy? And it's very similar to real life now where starters are going 5, 6 innings and then they're using 3 or 4 guys to finish the game.
Right.
It's very specialized. And so that being said, that clutch rating is going to be really important for people to pay attention to when they're figuring out how they want to build their staffs.
Right, because if their clutch is higher, it's going to be easier to get some of these bear down pitches. You can have more bear down pitches. So it's going to really affect what you try to decide with your roster in general, right?
Right. And then a couple questions I've been seeing, not only today, but across socials as we saw it, especially it was featured in the gameplay trailer. But do your bear down pitches, as long as you're with the same pitcher, do they carry over from inning to inning, or do you start fresh per inning?
They do. They carry over. So whatever you earned in the previous inning will carry over to the next inning. And that's the whole strategy behind it. It's like if I'm cruising through an inning and let's say I'm a 99 and I could cap at 4 in an inning, right? I might want to sit. I'm cruising. I'm doing great. Like maybe I'm playing somebody not as good as me. Maybe I'm grinding at a higher level and I'm a little nervous about that matchup because I'm facing the other team. The other team has a really good pitcher as well, so it's going to be a low-scoring game.
Right.
So I know that I'm going to have my guy last 6, 7 innings, and I might want to save those. However, if you run into trouble in any of those innings prior, like I'm saying, knowing it's going to be a close game, that's when you're probably going to want to use it. You got a guy in scoring position. You're going to want to, I get 2 outs. I want to use one of those at that moment, right? and I look at who's on deck, you know, and so it's their strategy behind all of this. So, yeah, it's kind of a fun way to play the game, and it's going to be in the competitive world. It'll be a little bit different offline too, right, Connor?
Yeah, it will be a little bit different. It's been balanced slightly different for online versus offline gameplay.
Right, just to make it feel competitive.
Exactly.
Versus your offline
exactly.
enjoyment.
Yeah.
And there was a great question in the chat. So they see it from the pitcher's point of view right now. You get a little bit of that zoom in. You can see it all. But the question was, what does the hitter see? Do they even notice
they don't
anything?
even know. I mean, it would be silly, right? Like when
like
you're hitting in real life, you don't know that guy's gonna. I mean, the situation would pretty much dictate that this guy's bearing down. But the idea behind whether or not you're using it or not, you'll never know.
Right. In a head-to-head game. If you and me were playing, I wouldn't know when you're bearing
Exactly.
down. You could try to guess in those high-leverage situations.
Yeah, people are going to probably be guessing all the time, or use it there, he didn't use it there. They're going to see what that guy's clutch rating is to see how many he could actually have within that inning. So it's a really good, I mean, the system in and of itself, I love the feature because you can't really overuse it. Right. It's not going to be like overwhelming in terms of now the pitchers have this huge advantage. It's not like that at all. Like we said in the pre-record, you get a little extra velo on your harder pitches, and you get a slightly a little bit more control.
Yeah.
Which is huge. Like if my energy is starting to go down, and I see that my par size is getting big, right? I can use those 4 that I have saved up, and then I see that par shrink.
Try to get out of that inning.
And get out of that inning. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, super valuable.
Another question we're seeing in the chat is player to player. Is this going to carry over? Or is it once you have your bear down pitches, with a starter and you pull them, you have to re-get the bear downs for the reliever?
Yeah, and I mean, again, there's strategy involved there. You're going to have to regain them because it is based on that clutch rating. But for me personally, if I see my guy has 3 more bear down pitches, and I know I'm going to be going to the bullpen, I'm going to use all 3 right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Empty the tank, you know?
Yeah.
Additionally, another question kind of based off of that. Once you gain bear down pitches, let's say we're up to 2 bear down pitches, will you ever lose one? Is there ever a situation, but once you earn them, you keep them, or could you lose it based upon whatever might happen next?
You only lose it by using it.
Okay.
So
lose it by using it.
So if I give up a home run, I can still hold on to my bear downs.
You can.
Do you think that's going to happen to you often?
그 얘긴가 봐.
I'm ready to play for keeps this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
World Series.
배어다운 피칭 써가지고
like 600.
맞았을 때 차감되냐고
But yeah,
그거
bear down, another great feature.
사용하면 차감된다고
people are
그런
gonna be excited
얘기인가?
for it. The strategy behind it, the roster making with it, making sure you have the right pitchers with the high clutch.
Right.
Should be cool.
Any other things you would love to drive home when it comes to bear down before we move on to Big Zone?
No, I mean, like I said earlier, I just think it's the strategy is going to change from player to player. You use it any way you want, and you're going to kind of figure it out once you get going, once you get the game and you start working, like offline, and you're playing and figuring out how it works, having some fun with it. Then you develop a strategy. Just like everything else, like you do in our game with hitting and pitching.
For sure, that makes sense. So as we move over, we'll go to the full cam.
Ooh, we have a question from Control Room Colin.
Colin is back.
Is there a negative to bear down pitching, a stamina hit or accuracy hit if you don't nail the mechanic?
스텝이 뭐라 얘기하나 보다.
Yeah, it's a really good question. So essentially what you're getting is you're getting more control, right, with bear down, and you're getting, meaning that your par size is smaller, so you still have to nail your mechanic.
Right.
So if I'm using gesture pitching, I still have to nail that mechanic. If I'm using meter pitching, I got to nail it, right? So yes, you have to there's the responsibility ultimately ends up on the player himself. But you're getting an advantage. It's almost like you can imagine being in the 5th or 6th inning. Your energy's low. You're not pitching the same way. Your par's bigger. You're not pitching the same way you were in the 1st inning. Right. Colin, are you paying attention?
No.
You asked the question.
He's the spokesperson.
I feel like I need to be looking at you. You asked the question. So
I'm listening.
Yeah. So really, it comes down to. I don't even know.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to say with that, if I can cut in real quick, because I've been seeing this question as well. They're like, is this pinpoint only? It's whatever you use to pitch, whether it's meter, pure analog,
그러니까 핀포인트만 사용 가능한 게 아니다.
bear down will be available for you.
Yeah, it's still
미터도 사용할 수 있고 다 사용을 할 수 있다.
Perfect mechanic for you. You still have to control.
You have to execute the mechanic, but you do get a nice control boost when you use it.
계속 예시를 핀포인트로 보여줬으니까.
Very good.
Well, shall we go back to the game, talk a little bit about Big Zone? Saw a few few different chatters amongst the chat while we were seeing this in the pre-record. I think a lot of people are drawing like ambush parallels just because of the highlight. Could you talk a little bit about what is ambush? Remind our fans, what does it mean? And then what is the difference with Big Zone?
That's a good question. I could see right away why you would think that just because of the display that's on the screen. And as these guys are playing the game, you'll see them moving the stick around. It's like it's not necessarily PCI, but the difference is, Ashley, is ambush is literally I'm guessing whether that pitch is middle in or middle away. Right? So it doesn't really matter what hitting mechanic I'm using. It's literally stands alone. It's completely separate. Here's the difference. Like when you're using regular zone hitting, you have to be finite control in order to get a perfect. Okay, so if I need to be right on the ball. So to center it up, my timing's got to be perfect. I got to line that PCI right on the ball. Big zone hitting is a little more forgiving. And it's like Connor was saying in the pre-record, it's like a step up from timing to zone. We didn't really have anything in between.
Right. There's a big drop off there. You know, we had like 80% of users using PCI, 20% are using the
빅조는 진짜 도입을 잘한 것 같은 게.
Right. Yeah, and so there's a couple really cool things that I want to touch on with the big zone hitting. So here's what it does. It kind of handicaps the game too. So let's talk in the first and foremost in the competitive environment. So as I rank up and I start playing at higher levels, I'm going to start running into
guys 어려운 사람들 이걸로 하면 될 것 같은데.
Potentially.
I run into it all the time now. I'm a little
The majority of people want to be in control of their swing and their hitting. Right?
Yeah. 진짜 존하고 딜에게 가운데 아니야 이게.
You get to that certain level where you feel like you might need that handicap. What Big Zone is going to do, it allows you to just choose the zone that ball is going to come in. Now here's, if you want to call it the downside, there's two parts to this, right? So you are not going to have the finite control. So you will not get a perfect using Big Zone. It is impossible.
And that's big. I want the fans to know we talked about this. We didn't get to it in the pre-record, but we're live. I know a lot of people are wondering. There will be no perfects within the Big Zone mechanic. That's strictly for zone.
Exactly. And there's a really good reason for that.
Right.
Because contact in Big Zone hitting is the number one attribute that you want to look at on your hitting card, right? On your player's card. Right. So, and the reason for that is because you're not moving your PCI right over the ball. You're moving it to a zone where you think it. So let's just say the ball happens to be, and you're watching these guys play right now, so you're kind of seeing it. But if the ball's in the zone and you time the ball up, which is really important, you always have to time the ball up. So your swing timing is going to manipulate the type of hit that you get, right? If the pitch is outside, even if I put the PCI in the zone for Big Zone, right on where the ball is, and I'm early, I'm going to roll over on that ball, hit a ground ball to the pull side.
Right.
If I'm on time, I'm going to hit a line drive to the side that it's on, whether a left-handed hitter to left field or a right-handed hitter to right field.
Right.
Okay, so here's the thing. There's you are not able to necessarily be super fine if I want to drop my PCI, if I was that good to drop my PCI just under the ball to hit a fly ball, right? Or just put it above a little bit to hit a ground ball if you were trying to move a runner over or something. With Big Zone, though, what you will see is if you're one zone off, so like if the pitch is, on the outside middle zone and you go up to the right, you're still going to make contact. But
나 이건 진짜 좋아 보이긴 하네. 이건 좀 매력적이다. 빅존은 괜찮다.
That's going to kind of dictate your solid contact area when you're timing.
요즘 존 타격 때문에 힘들어가지고.
Right, Connor?
Yeah, exactly. Contact is definitely important here, but swing timing with all of the interfaces is critical.
And to put a bow on it, I've been seeing some chatter. We have a lot of great competitive players in our chat. If you're using zone, you really like zone hitting, that's PCI hitting, you find that works wonderfully for you, keep with it. That is going to be your most advantageous hitting mode. This is something for, you're not quite ready to be zone hitting. You're still having a little bit of difficulty transitioning from, say, directional hitting to zone hitting because it's quite a barrier to entry from one to the other. This kind of brings people up to speed, give them a little bit more competitiveness, but not sacrificing the cream of the crop that is zone hitting.
Absolutely. The balance here is critical, and with zone hitting, you're still going to experience the best results that you can. So what I mean by that is if we were to look at all four interfaces, zone hitting is the best players that are best with zone hitting will succeed the most.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Like I wouldn't say it's only for a certain set of people. If I'm a competitive player and I'm really good and I'm grinding and I want to have fun, I don't want to play at a high level or a high difficulty level and have to focus so much. This might be for you too, just to grind through the offline modes and different things that you got to do to earn your way up.
Right. Yeah. I think that ties the bow really nicely, Ashley. And I think, we've talked about bear down. We've talked about big zone. This all goes into something we talk about a lot, Gil, in just giving the pitcher and the hitter all these options so they can go and play our game with an approach, similar to how players in the big leagues do, right?
Yeah, for sure. And for those of you that heard me even last year, I talk about approach a lot, and I love all the options that we are able to give the community when the game goes out every year, and we've added even more for this year. But, hitting is very strategic, and one of the things I think we're super proud of is how close, and it's interesting, we get big leaguers that come in here and play our game, and we have these discussions, and we talk hitting, and I love that they understand that there's a lot of similarities in our game to the approaches that they have in real life.
Right.
And I think part of that is there are so many different ways and different mechanics that you can use that you could tailor your own game and still have that plan at the plate, right? So if I just want to have fun or play in the lower levels, I can just swing away and hit a bunch of bombs. That's great. But once I get into that competitive environment, right, strategy is really important. But that's going to change from game to game because your strategy is going to be based on your opponent, the person you're playing against.
Exactly.
There's no scouting report on that guy. It's very rare that you're going to remember the guy that you played already and then understand how that guy pitched you. So it's kind of on the fly. And so with our hitting that we have right now, very similar to real life, I think the best way to approach is having a plan at the plate.
Yes.
You're not going to be able to hit a 93-mile-an-hour sinker that in and at the same time, when I walk up to the plate, hit a 98 on the block away.
Right.
You can't walk up to, no big leaguer does that. Anybody that tells you that they're doing that is lying. There's just no possible way that you can do that. And if you listen to any videos of big leaguers talking about hitting and they talk about their approach, they're hunting something, right?
Yes.
They're hunting a pitch, and that's all based on scouting reports. So very similarly in our game, after a little while, you're going to see these patterns of how people are pitching you. So, you talk about ambush, early in the count, or when I'm ahead in the count and I'm looking for something that I want to drive, why not use that tool to say I'm looking for this pitch and then just spit on the other pitch? Don't, just let it go. I'm looking inside. So if I'm looking 93 sinker in, I ambush to that side of the plate. I have a huge advantage now. If I guess wrong, it's 0-1, big deal. Now I go 1-1, 2-1, whatever. I get back ahead and I might try it again. 2-strike adjustment, you might not want to use that. You might want to focus thinking, hit a line drive over the opposite field's head and then react inside and do the best I can. The cool thing about having these, whether it's big zone hitting or zone hitting, and I think this is what's really interesting because we get a lot of feedback, and I think I kind of exposed that last year in the stream where I had some feedback on the table. And
they love it though. They love that we're constantly listening, whether it's our in-game surveys, whether it's Twitch streams. We're always watching and gathering that feedback in whatever form.
Always. I mean, we're making this game for you guys. This game is for you. It's not for us. We're making it for you. So we listen to everything you say, and then there's a lot of really good constructive criticism out there that we really enjoy reading. And you're not going to hurt our feelings. We appreciate it. Some people say stuff that doesn't really matter, and everybody knows there's trollers out there, and that's fine. That's not helpful. What's helpful is really understanding the game, giving good, solid feedback, and then that's what we look at and we make adjustments, right? And so, people talk about, there's one of the things I think they talk a lot about, which is the sliders away and shrinking your PCI.
We should bring up that PCI
Colin,
scaling.
Can you bring up the PCI scaling image right now?
Did you make an image?
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
There we go.
This one.
Oh, look, he's got that. Cool. Well, I'm going to let you talk about it then.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool. Essentially what you're seeing here is the difference between all of these are right-handed pitcher versus right-handed hitter. What you're seeing here is the pitch type was a slider, and this is on Hall of Fame difficulty. There's so many factors that go into PCI size and your swing timing window, where the pitch is thrown, the pitch type. There's tons of factors. So this is because we have the ability to basically say, okay, let's set pitcher attributes to 62 across the board and hitter attributes to 62 across the board, which is our average. Our average for attributes is 62. What you're going to notice is how ambush, like Gil was talking about, how ambush
모든 투수와 타자들
your
능력치는
PCI size and also your swing timing window.
62로 돼 있다.
So middle slider here, you're seeing it in blue. It's a pitch hung over the
그 상태에서
your PCI is going to be
hang it, we
massive.
bang it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's super important to understand this part too, right? Like, especially a breaking pitch. If you throw a breaking pitch down the middle, right, that literally is going to light the hitter's eyes up
every time.
I drop my PCI.
If I'm looking for 95 away and you hang a slider over
61로
the plate,
설정했다는
it's
게
going
뭔
to get
말이죠?
crushed.
Yeah.
So having a plan at the plate and looking for a fastball away, it's not going to prevent you from hitting that 500 feet.
Right.
Right, and that's the reason why that's big.
Yeah, and then I mean,
Bigger.
just looking at this scaling image, you do see that ambush is kind of your weapon with these sliders away, right? And we talk a lot about this, we see it in the community a lot, but there's a reason why it does shrink on the sliders away. It came from years ago, the foul tip feedback that we got, right?
Well, that's a really good point.
It comes from a couple things, like real life. That is a really difficult pitch to hit, a slider down and away. But the other thing you're going to notice is, like you said, foul balls years ago, extended at bats were frustrating.
Couldn't get any swing and misses.
Exactly, and the inverse to that is swing and misses, decreasing that PCI size and creating swing and misses. So what you're going to notice is when your gameplay style is set to competitive, this shrinkage, as people call it,
right,
is definitely more noticeable than if you were on casual or simulation. Casual or simulation used to be the two-player default. We didn't have these gameplay styles in the past. But in order to reduce your swing and misses, or I don't know what I was going to say.
No, you're good. What I'm seeing here, and I'm seeing a lot of chatter to kind of summarize what you're kind of getting at, you have the most opportune hitting situation in the middle right here.
빅존도 좀 큰 것 같긴 한데 타격 손목은 마음에 드는데.
over the middle of the plate. Then you go to the left, the green. You're going to have slightly smaller vision in the PCI because, as you can see, it's a slider at the corner of the plate, but you're ambushing it, so it's not as small as you see the red, the no ambush, where you have a much tighter window of hitting that ball if you don't choose an ambush.
Yeah, it's a really good illustration that just shows you how the system inherently works.
Yeah.
Right? And it also shows you how you combat those things. Right. So if I'm going to complain that somebody's spamming me sliders away, and I continually swing and miss, well, make an adjustment. That's what a real life coach would tell a real life player. Or, in real life, if I want to move, if someone's throwing me away all the time, I can physically move closer to the plate. Well, how can you do that in MLB The Show 26? You use ambush.
Yes.
Right. Ambush is basically saying I want to move closer to the plate because I physically can't move my batter closer to the plate, right? Or if he's going to throw me in, I want to move off the plate, use ambush. And that
ambush 쓰라고 강력히 권장을 하네요.
Instead of not just hammering on this the whole time, but it opens up that timing window too, right? So a slider away is going to be really difficult to drive unless you time that up perfectly. If you're early, you're going to roll over. If you're way early, you're going to swing and miss. So you need to be really on time on those pitches away, especially something down and away like that. But you use ambush, that opens up that timing window a little bit more. And now you have more room to keep that ball fair and still drive it.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's a good conversation. And again, we're always looking at feedback. We'll be keeping an eye on everything there. But there is some stuff that we didn't get to in the pre-record that I know you're very excited for.
I cannot wait. I know a lot of our fans have noticed the new attribute screen. They saw a couple screenshots here and there. So we took away some attributes. We added some attributes. So Connor, would you like to start with a pitcher or a hitter and walk us through it?
Whatever you prefer. Hey, James or Drake, can I see the controller? We'll just go into the attribute screen and I'll navigate.
Ooh, there you go. Want to go pitcher first? Show
Let's
the splits?
Let's
All right,
do
we'll
it.
show what we added with the splits. So walk us through what we're seeing here with Mr. Max Fried.
Yeah, so we talked about hits per 9 earlier. That's the inverse of contact. It works to shrink the batter's PCI, his inner PCI, and it also adjusts his swing timing windows. So the higher your hits per 9, the harder it is for your opponent to make contact. Those are pretty straightforward. Essentially, we're using real MLB stats, and we're able to tell how they're working against batters in real life versus lefties and versus righties. Ks per 9, we also have splits now. So once again, referencing MLB stats. Colin, we have a similar image. It is
the K per 9.
The K per 9.
Crochet.
K per 9.
K per 9.
And what this is showing is the outer PCI. Again, 62 attributes across the board. And what you're seeing here is a 99 K per 9 left versus 62 vision. And then you're going to notice the outer PCI is smaller because your Ks per 9 is higher. And then the middle image is 62 K per 9 left versus 62 vision. And you're going to notice that the batter's PCI is slightly larger. And then there's the overlaid image. So essentially Ks per 9 is your ability to induce strikeouts, create swing and misses. So what you're seeing is how that works on screen.
And I want to say,
Go ahead.
이것도 되게 난 재밌다고 생각하는 게.
Since we have the pitcher max freed up, there was a lot of commentary
좌우
about switch
H4-9,
hitters,
K4-9
especially when many of
생기면서
them enter the game through Diamond Dynasty. So what this does when you split out the splits is it kind of
그러니까 이제 투수도 좌타 우타에 따라서 PCI의 영향을 줄 수 있다는 게 난 되게 좀 좋은 것 같긴 해요.
Lefty switch hitter who's choosing to bat from the lefty side, but that righty pitcher actually has better K per 9 splits against left-handers.
Absolutely. Exactly.
And it's all going to be, pulled for, like, most of these cards, offline at least, will be pulled from real MLB data.
Yes.
Which is going to make the pitchers feel even more real than we've had before because we can separate how they do versus righties versus how they do with lefties.
Yeah.
It's a nice change.
And before we move on to hitters, I just want to address how are we organizing Fried's pitches on the right here? What does this right half of the screen mean to our fans?
Yeah, the right side of the screen, good question, Ashley, is the pitches are organized based on usage rate. We're also getting those numbers from real MLB data. Mm-hmm. That usage rate, the more frequently they throw the pitch, the higher it's going to be ranked in their repertoire.
Colin?
What does HR per 9 mean?
That is home runs per 9. This is kind of a good segue. Home runs per 9 is a simulation stat. What I mean by that is not every mode simulates. Road to the Show, you can quick manage, you can press triangle and basically simulate.
홈런 per 9 아예 그냥 DD에 없앴다. 잘했네
Home runs
이거.
per 9 kind of works against power when it comes
지금
to
트위치가 더 빨라서 화면은 트위치로
the
좀
simulation.
보는데.
Now, in Diamond Dynasty
DD에서 없앴네.
specifically, home runs per 9 does not matter.
So
yeah.
it's not going to be there.
Exactly.
잘했네,
so if you
이거.
pull up the
이것 때문에 헷갈렸었는데.
picture image, Colin, you'll notice how we're only showing the attributes that matter now. You're no longer seeing control per pitch. That's been removed universally.
어깨도 정확성만 있네요.
Named to control. That's your overall control of that pitch. There's also an influence based on where it is in your repertoire. What I mean is a four-seam fastball in the first slot versus a four-seam fastball in the fifth slot. You're going to notice in the first slot, your par is going to be slightly smaller than it is in your fifth slot.
Yeah, I'm seeing this is good in the chat, and I agree. I think seeing the splits with hits per 9 per lefties and righties, and then, of course, you're only seeing the attributes that matter for whatever mode we're in within the game.
And we have a control room Colin question.
Jacob E for 3 asked, "Is this a recording?" And I think we can all say
no.
No, Jacob, we're live. Hi, Jacob.
We're live. I forgot what I was going to say. I think it's pretty obvious.
But that was it. Just to kind of summarize, you're going to have your pitches organized by pitch usage. So right here, we see the cutter, or where I'm looking at the wrong screen. We see the four-seamer of Crochet. That's the pitch he uses the most. So you're going to have a little bit more control on that pitch versus if I want to spam his circle change.
Yep. Correct.
Shall we move on to hitters?
Let's do it.
Judge.
Yeah, so this is the Diamond Dynasty version of Judge.
This is a reveal, too.
This is.
we got 2 DD reveals in gameplay. Let's go.
Little Easter egg.
DD 저지 좋네.
So what you're going to notice here is you'll notice discipline, durability, all of the attributes that are simulation attributes or ones that don't impact the head-to-head single-player experience are not shown here. So we did a big audit, cleaned up attributes.
비전은 이게 안 물고 안 준다 근데.
This is where we're at.
저지 비전은 항상 안 주더라.
Ratings are not final. Don't you all worry. We're also switching between, different screens throughout different modes in our game, so nothing is final. However, what is that depending upon which mode you are playing, only the attributes that have an impact in that mode are the ones showing. So if we actually want to go back to the game, James or Dre, if we can pull up a hitter, please, and talk about what's the difference with Reaction we see offline, but reaction is going to play a little bit differently in, say, a Road to the Show, Connor.
Yeah, reaction in Road to the Show is only one value. What I mean by that is your reaction is how you're going to move in every direction there. We just felt like we didn't want players having to spend a bunch of tokens pouring into reaction each direction. One big change for Road to the Show is that those start transitions you see, those delays going each direction, are now taking place in the player locked experience. Before, you always had a perfect jump, and how you reacted was based on how you move that stick. But now it's just incentivizing putting more tokens into reaction in Road to the Show. When it comes to reaction each direction, again, these are pulled from real MLB stats, so you'll notice players move different in each direction.
Yeah, so that's big. Reaction will matter a lot in Road to the Show, getting the good jumps like you're talking about, but it will be one attribute within Road to the Show. But
and then we have another question.
What are intangibles?
Extra things?
Everything you see on the screen, right?
Extra things, and once we launch, that might be changed. So...
Work in progress.
That is game development. We're constantly working.
The idea behind intangibles and why it's up there is because you have the 5 tools, right? So you have contact, power, fielding, speed, and arm. Those are the 5 tools, and generally when you're scouting and you're looking at players, those are the attributes that you're looking at, right, in terms of grading a player. And so everything else are intangibles, but generally it's like defining those intangibles, and what you see on the screen, it can be categorized as other, which is probably what we'll end up putting on there. So they're just extra attributes, not necessarily attributes, but extra things that they have within their arsenal.
Right. So, yeah, we've talked about attributes. We've talked about the new splits for pitchers. We've talked about usage rates. We've talked about reaction, getting separated into 4 different directions for our defenders. And then, of course, there's one more we got to talk about, and it's catcher pop time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, pop time. That's Ashley's favorite.
It is.
Why are you so excited with pop time?
I love throwing runners out at second base. I think between that and robbing home runs, I get a thrill defensively, especially in Diamond Dynasty when you can steal a base runner. So my thing is, don't run on me because odds are I'm going to throw you out. So
we did this. We popped time in for Ashley this year.
There you go.
So we wanted to make
her
happy.
Special.
So pop time was a quirk last year. Only a few players actually had it. This year we, and like I said earlier, rightfully so, we changed it to a real attribute. It really does kind of define that area of the game for catchers in terms of what's the most important thing generally for catchers, being able to throw runners out. In our game, we get, in the stats that we receive for pop time, everything is baked in. So what pop time is essentially is how quick a catcher moves his feet, how fast he gets rid of the ball, his accuracy, and his arm strength. Those are all baked into the pop time number. The average pop time in the big leagues is around 1.95, 1.96, something like that. And generally, you're going to see the majority of big leaguers right around that number. But here's the really cool thing, because it really puts an importance on how I build my teams. Mm-hmm. Right. And if I feel like defense always matters so much, especially as I'm competing over time, that I'm going to want a catcher that can throw really fast guys out. Right. So I think that's really valuable when you're playing this game, and we all know that those 99 runners are going to be stealing all the time against you, that I can, basically set up my team so that I have a guy behind the plate that has a chance to throw that guy out at a higher rate, So, the pop time is really important. And the way that we did that in our game was we took the animation. So it's really interesting, right? Like when you want to break this thing down into like what is under the hood and how this gets calculated. We obviously are taking all of those attributes, like I said, accuracy, arm strength, feet, hands, from something that's been put together by real data in real life. And then we have to somehow take it and get that same number on our catchers, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So let me give you an example. If I have a catcher that has a 99 arm, right, and a 40 pop time.
I'm glad you're saying this. Somebody was asking about that. Yes.
Yeah. Right? And I have a guy that's got a 50 arm and a 40 pop time.
By arm, you're referencing arm strength, right?
Yeah, exactly. The arm strength. So thank you for clarifying that, Connor. Both of those guys have to have the same pop time. So how do we do that? Well, we don't have the luxury of recording every single big leaguer in the game and having them come down here to San Diego studios and capturing their catch and release, right? And getting their pop time. So what we do is we speed or slow up that animation to the detach. And that means from the time the catcher catches the ball to the time he releases the ball, that movement will get sped up or slowed down. And then also mathematically combine that with the arm strength, right?
Of the player.
And then mathematically figure out how to get those pop times the same. And I'd be lying if I could sit here and tell you how that happens because I'm terrible at math, but my programmers are really good.
That's a lot of math.
Shout out to you, Jeff Woolman, who we just sat down the other day and we figured this whole thing out, or you figured it out. Thank you. And Gary Weiss, who's actually helped with pop time as well. But so I think that's super interesting anyway. And the cool thing is like we're spitting out numbers that directly relate to the scaled numbers from 0 to 99, those attributes. And we're able to give out the real life pop times of catchers, and they translate perfectly into our game. And when I say average, the average time. So we'll get into the catcher animations in a little bit, and I'll explain a little bit more why that matters to pop time.
So we've gone through a lot. We've done bear down, we've done big zone, we've gone into all the attribute changes and rework, pop time now an attribute, no longer a quirk. What we haven't touched upon yet, Connor, there's some online co-op changes going into play. You know I play a lot of co-op, so what can I expect when I boot up launch night with my co-op teammates?
Yeah, Colin, if you want to pull up the co-op roles and rotations. What you're going to see here is previously just in non-DD co-op, you were able to select from a smaller set of rotations than what's listed here. Now you're able to fine-tune your team strategy and load into the game based on how you guys feel you're going to best perform. You'll see all the new rotation patterns for fielding right here. We're not going to read through all of them, but per plate appearance, per 2 plate appearances, there's a full list of rotations you can go through. So it's really just enhancing strategy and managerial decisions.
And there's another element to this. Walk me through an imaginary situation with who controls the ball in what situation. So usually, say in a rundown, you have maybe player 1 as pitcher, player 2 as the infielders. And if the catcher was involved, player 1 was with the catcher, player 2 was still with the infielders. What's kind of changing this year to make it a little easier?
Yeah, essentially all the pitcher is doing now is pitching. Once the ball's put in play, the infield user is in control of everybody for the infield. If you're
including the catcher.
Yes, correct. So if you're in a 3v3, the infield user will also be in control of the catcher and the pitcher once the ball's in play. One thing to note is like stealing. It really makes you pay attention now because as the pitcher's delivering the pitch, as another user, I'm now having to pay attention to is the guy taking off or not. So it makes you lock in a little bit more.
This is a public service announcement. If you're playing co-op, be a good teammate and lock in. Don't check your phone noties in the middle of an inning.
Yeah, or else you're gonna look really silly.
I'm brutal at that.
And it doesn't stop there. We're talking about some co-op changes that I know a lot of our fans are gonna enjoy, but there's some other good quality of life changes in head-to-head. I know one of them starts with pitching out of the stretch, locked in.
Yeah. So what was that?
It's there.
Oh yeah, it's there. So essentially, we had a we have a setting for offline play if you want to use this option as well. If you guys go to general, and it's somewhere in the settings, but essentially pitching out of the stretch. Essentially, what it is it helps to speed up games.
You can just
you're only going to pitch out of the stretch. We had to make some slight tweaks to faster deliveries.
Sure.
Like
as
Kershaw.
Yeah.
He kills me out of the stretch. He's so fast compared to his normal windup.
Yeah. So guys with super quick deliveries in our game, we slightly delay the start of the animation now to give you a little bit more time to perform that pinpoint gesture or mechanic.
So we see the option here, as James is showing. You can choose it in offline play, but is pitching out of the stretch what you can expect in DD? Like, that will be the norm?
Yes, it's the online default.
Thank you. And that's not the only thing we're changing. There is something that's coming back to Diamond Dynasty, and that's mid-batter timeouts.
Yeah, you can now call time again in online play, which
I know a lot of people who love that.
We took out years ago because of some technical challenges there, but we brought it back, and when we took it out, we were surprised how many people actually were like, oh, where did it go?
I think I remember walking over to your desk and being like,
where'd
I
it
love
go?
Calling Time. Now
Where'd it go?
I'm happy it's back.
And I would say maybe one of the most hyped changes that a lot of people are going to love once they hear is, R2ing has been a little bit of a commotion for years on end. That's changing this year.
Yeah, R2 spamming years ago was a big problem. We made some tweaks to make it so it wasn't necessarily messing with your inputs as a pitcher.
Yes.
But we just figured let's get rid of it. So no R2 in online play. You can hold R2 to view pitch history and stuff, but it's not going to slow down the pitcher. We've added a slight delay for the pitcher to actually be able to select his pitch to kind of allow you to buy more time. But with Calling Time back, we feel that people have plenty of time now.
The community loves you, Connor. I think you're going to have like a whole bunch of thank you gifts on your desk tomorrow morning, so get ready.
Getting so many W's and thank gods. No more R2. You can call time. Some really good just quality of life stuff for head-to-head players.
Right, so we talked once again, bear down, big zone, attributes, online changes. I know, Gil, we want to touch a little bit about new animations before we let our fans go for the afternoon.
Yeah, I think so. Year after year, like when you see like what we put streams out, or we post things online, and you'll see just a number where it says 500 new animations this year or 600 new animations this year. And going back to what I was talking about earlier, where we read a lot of feedback, right?
We're seeing it
from
everywhere.
the community. We see feedback, and one of the things that you constantly see, especially when we put out some of these things, where it's like, oh, same old animations, and I just want to say that baseball, very specifically baseball, a sport video game, baseball hasn't changed for over 100 years.
Right.
We have almost 16,000 animations in our game.
Yes.
That is just gameplay animations. I'm not talking about personalized pitching. I'm not talking about personalized hitting. I'm not talking about any of the presentations. Very specifically, close to 16,000 gameplay animations.
Playing the game, within.
So when you're playing the game, I've touched on some of these things, many times, where you can only catch the ball so many ways in a baseball game.
Right.
If I were to go get a new backhand catch, I would do it the same way I do it right now. So I got a setup backhand, a running backhand, a running forehand, a setup forehand. We have catches that come from their pre-pitch stance. So if the ball's hit really hard, I go 1 foot to my right, 2 feet to my right, 3 feet to my right, to my left, and then all around me, right? So I have to go low, mid, high, above my head, right, left. We have catches for every single position around a player. We have every running catch. We have every sliding catch, right? Now, you could argue that, maybe that the right foot is out, and you see something in real life where you're going to see some, a different style maybe within every, but this goes back to what I was saying about the catchers. We don't get every big leaguer in here to go, okay, I want you to go make a diving play in the left field. How do you do it, right? Or how do you slide when you slide into home? Or how do you slide when you slide into second? So we get a wide variety of all those things, and they share those animations. But it's important to understand that our game also works in a way when you talk about the enormity of animations that we have in our game, that there are plays that you watch that they might be made up of 7, 8, 9 animations in a row, and you're not even noticing them, because not everything is just a swing or a throw or a catch. We have transitional animations that also make up part of that 16,000 animations that are in the game. On top of that, if we did animations 10 years ago that are a little outdated, we go in and redo those animations. So the count in the core doesn't actually go up. It stays relatively the same, but we're renewing, refreshing older animations.
We talked
so they're
about that
not
in
the
the
same ones all the time.
Always auditing, always trying to make things look fresh.
You're still going to see animations that you saw 5 years ago in our game, because it's baseball. It's what they do. And honestly, unless somebody can come here and show me how you can field a setup backhand any different than the way we do a setup backhand, I'd love to see that, right? So I guess from us to everybody else, I would argue that there's not another sports game around that has even close to the amount of animations that we have in our game, and the variety that we have, and the situational awareness that they have. Mm-hmm. So not only are these guys changing the way that they throw based on how good they are, based on their fielding and throwing attributes, they are changing based on the situation itself, whether it's a casual situation, an high urgency situation, right? And so we get those throws from every direction, from every distance. So we have throws that are, over 200 feet, those that are between 100 and 200 feet. We have throws that are 50 feet. Then we have tosses that are under 25 feet from every catch, because you never know what orientation he's going to be catching, and we do that in all directions.
Yes.
So anyway, that is my long-winded way of saying, look, every year we are refreshing and adding animations into our game. Work really hard to do that. We're super pleased with the stuff that we get in every single year. And unfortunately, they don't give us 5 years to make a game. They give us about 9-10 months. So,
yeah, I think it's well said. Honestly, we've covered a lot today. We covered big zone hitting. We covered bear down. The all new attribute system. Attributes are only going to be in the mode you're playing within the game. I think that's awesome. We talked about some online changes with co-op, but is there anything else you guys want to cover here?
I think we're solid. I don't have anything else. Was that a keyword that I was supposed to remember?
No. It was
anything else you want to say?
I feel like I forgot something, like when Colin says, okay, when I say this at the end, say this.
No.
And because Colin...
We got some questions.
Ooh, I like it.
I love questions.
So, elevation. Any change to elevation gameplay related this year?
In terms of what? Like all the elevations are set in terms of where those stadiums, is that what they're saying?
They're asking if elevation makes a difference in gameplay.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
elevation
absolutely. Our physics are super advanced. I mean, I heard our engineer talking about this just the other day, and he's talking about molecules in the air and all of these different things, and it's mind-blowing the amount of work that Jeff MacArthur and these other programmers even think about when elevation, wind, humidity, all of these things definitely have a big impact.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Like you're playing a night game in New York, the ball's not going to travel as far as it is. Well, they have a short porch. It's not going to travel as far as the ball's going into in Arizona, right? Like
yes.
in a day game or somewhere in a higher elevation like Colorado, for sure, the ball's going to fly. And it's interesting though, you bringing up the physics. I mean, you're talking about like the ball physics. What's interesting is the last time Aaron Judge was on our cover was the year that we actually changed from going from our first physical engine that we had before for hitting and going to true real life physics where you could put in the launch angle, the exit velo, and match the exact same thing that a hit was in real life. And I remember Aaron was in the studio. That was at 2018, year. He was in the studio, and when we first, when Jeff first came up with this, he had him in the office, and we showed him hitting a bomb in a stadium. And I can't remember the landmark that his ball hit, but we dialed in those numbers in the game, and the ball hit the exact same landmark in our stadium. And it's a good flashback having Aaron back on the cover and he's back on the cover and having this conversation. But to Connor's point, it's way over our heads in terms of how it gets done, but it's true to life.
And we got the right guys to do it.
100%.
And one more thing I've seen in chat is they've noticed the blur.
Yes.
To lock
did you guys put the blur
when you're hitting.
Oh, go on, Connor. Talk about that.
This
is Connor's favorite feature.
This is depth of field.
Good job.
I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. From the hitting perspective, you can turn this on if you want. It's under your camera options. Essentially, it just cuts out a lot of the noise in the background. If you don't like playing in certain stadiums because of the batter's eye or pitcher's delivery, you can turn this on and it helps to track the ball out of the pitcher's hand.
Yeah, and that's the coolest thing too. It's like, and we've tested this in stadiums where people might have problems, and it just a lot of times it depends on the pitcher that's pitching. You get a guy that comes like it throws sidearm and the ball's coming out of some object in the back that might have like a little white window or something on a door that's in center field in some weird crass
the white
stadium.
t-shirt guy
or something. And now you have this option. You can play with it or not, but it blurs kind of everything out in the back and the ball pops. So you get a better
depth of field. Blur it out, lock it in.
And this is available where in MLB The Show 26?
Universally.
Yeah,
so
everywhere.
You go into your camera settings and it's in there. There's also a bunch of other options in there. Like if you go to your displays, settings, pitch history, there's hitting and pitching displays here. And if you change that to custom, you're gonna see you're
pitch history 뭐 나왔다 했었지.
basically pick and choose how you want your pitch history to display. So you can start picking up on opponent tendencies within a game because you don't have those scouting reports of your opponent before going into the game. This is kind of a way to create your own scouting report as the game's going on. So there's tons of different options in here. You can customize the color, why it's going that color, what the center is filling with, lots of other things. So everyone's going to have different settings when it comes to this. So there's a bunch of options there.
Yeah, these are some really good quality of life improvements. I'm seeing people enjoy it in the chat.
I'm seeing 2 more questions maybe, Colin.
Can you answer if there will be going to be a hardcover physical edition like older years of the show? We can confirm no, we will not be having a steelbook or anything related. And then people are seeing Red Diamond and things.
Stay tuned.
We'll be talking about that stuff later, so stay tuned.
Yes. Good question, just not for right now.
We did want to touch on some of the gameplay changes in Road to the Show. I don't think we got to that. I think we
tune in next week.
Yes. We talked a little bit about reaction, but we'll get into more next week.
Okay, sweet.
Cool.
Sick.
Yeah, well, thank you, Gil and Connor, for joining us, talking about all things gameplay in MLB The Show 26.
And thank you, fans, for watching. This was our first feature premiere, and it was gameplay.
Yeah, pre-orders are open right now. There's a loyalty discount if you've gotten the game Digital Deluxe since 21.
Since 21,
you get
10%
off. So go check that out if you're interested in the game or liked what you saw today. It's all up there right now in the store.
Remember, early access is starting March 13th, so come watch and celebrate the World Baseball Classic during early access weekend. And remember, in your Digital Deluxe Edition, you will get 2 World Baseball Classic choice packs, so you are immediately starting your Diamond Dynasty journey with WBC players.
Yeah, early access March 13th. Full release will be March 17th. We're on the road right now.
Yep. Make sure you sign up for the Scouting Report. Follow us everywhere on socials.
And then, of course, we will be having feature premieres every Thursday, 2 o'clock Pacific, covering all the different new features you can expect in the game.
You can expect Road to the Show next week. We're going to talk all about new colleges, College World Series, I can say, the Hall of Fame, and so much more.
Yeah, it was really good sitting down, talking gameplay. And we'll see you next Thursday, 2 o'clock. In the words of Ramon, peace.
오케이. 마무리가 됐네요. 이거는 올라온 거겠지? 이미? 아, 그냥 저거 트네.
Every legend starts somewhere. Not in the spotlight, but in the work. One swing, one pitch, one moment at a time. It starts here. Bus rides, long days, late nights, dialing in your swing, leveling up your look. Chasing your first, hey, that kid's special. Then it clicks. You're locked in.
아, 피사계신도.
Every pitch nastier. Every moment, straight heat.
피사계신도 잘했다.
He delivers. Got him swinging.
Okay, now you're repping your country. Different pressure, different pride. This is the world stage. Or maybe your journey takes you upstairs. Flipping prospects, stacking lineups, building a ball club.
얘 또 뭐가 있어? 위클리 커튼
Getting
콜은
to the
뭐야?
majors? That's just the beginning. Cooperstown is the goal. But you gotta earn it. It's your journey, your moment, your show. Make your mark. Become a legend.
내일 발표되는 것까지 한번 보고 한번 쫙 정리해야겠다. 이게 맞겠다.
Here are the top 5 gameplay updates you need to know in MLB The Show 26. Challenge missed calls with the new ABS system. Pitch smarter with real MLB pitch usage rates. And rise to the moment with bear down pitching. At the plate, new zone hitting options and expanded pitch history give hitters the edge in the clutch. And with deeper defensive attributes and hundreds of new fielding animations, every play looks and feels more real than ever. See you in the show.
여기까지인가 보네요. 주 스케줄은 그냥 나중에 따로 하려나 보네. 잠시만. 드롭스 다 받았고. 한 번만 더 봐야지.
Hey everyone, Chris Gill here, Gameplay Director at San Diego Studio, and welcome to another season of Fielding Feedback, the series that highlights upgrades inspired by you, the players. Let's get into some of the awesome new features that make MLB The Show 26 our most immersive and realistic gameplay experience yet. This year is all about putting more power into your hands, and our new automated ball strike challenge system is a great example. If you think the ump missed a strike, challenge the call. Each team is allowed 2 challenges per game. If a challenge is successful, the team retains the right to use it again, but unsuccessful challenges are lost for the rest of the game. So don't burn all your challenges too early, or you could get squeezed in the clutch. Speaking of clutch, this year we're making sure that clutch matchups between pitchers and hitters are as realistic as possible by incorporating accurate pitch usage rates for every MLB pitcher based on real-world MLB stats. The lower the usage rate for a given pitch type, the harder it is to locate, giving hitters the ability to punish lazy pitchers who spam the zone with seldom thrown pitches. Good pitchers don't need spam when they're cooking. You know, it's been said that the best pitchers in baseball have a clutch gene that allows them to block out the noise and throw their best pitches in the biggest moments. This year, we're giving you a taste of how that feels with bear down pitching. The bear down feature lets you throw pitches with a little extra accuracy and velocity in key moments. How fast you gain bear down momentum and how many pitches you can save up are based on your pitcher's clutch attribute. But when you use your bear down pitches is up to you. Will you go after a big bat early or save your bear down pitches for more strategic, high leverage situations? Choose your moments wisely because even high rated clutch aces are only allowed to store a few bear down pitches at a time. Meanwhile, strategic hitters can also gain an edge in the clutch by taking advantage of expanded pitch history customization options for in-game scouting. You can now filter pitch history by specific counts, performance against lefties versus righties, and you can even track a pitcher's tendencies against specific hitters. And because our CPU pitchers mimic MLB pitchers by mixing speeds, working both sides of the plate, and leaning on their go-to pitches, these tools are just as valuable in offline modes as they are in online. This year, we're super excited to debut 2 new zone hitting options to help you lock in at the plate and put the barrel on the ball. First, we've added a new hitting mechanic called Big Zone Hitting. Instead of having to line up your PCI directly on the ball like zone hitting, you simply choose the zone where you think the ball will cross the plate. If you choose correctly and time up your swing, you'll make solid contact. The higher your contact attribute, the more solid coverage you will have within that zone. Next up is Fixed Zone Hitting, a new feature that lets you focus on a specific part of the plate and keep your PCI there for the whole at-bat. Couple that with our brand new PCI sensitivity feature in ambush hitting, which was introduced last year, and you now have more opportunities than ever to define and refine your personalized approach at the dish.
MVC도 계속 사용하라고 권장하고.
On the defensive side of the diamond, we've worked hard this year to differentiate between the good fielders and the gold glovers. As a result, we've created reaction attributes for breaking on the ball in every direction, forwards, backwards, left, and right. We've also added new attributes for pitchers and given catchers a pop time attribute. We are constantly integrating real-life player data to add value to these attributes, as well as enhance card variety and heighten realism throughout the game. Because gameplay is so important to us, we've once again added close to 500 new gameplay animations to the show, emphasizing the visual quality of plays on the field. Wait until you see all the new throws you can make in the infield, the arm angles, the off-balance throws. Turning double plays has never been more fun. We also gave our catchers a complete overhaul. With most catchers now setting up with one knee down, we made sure that making throwbacks, back picks, steal throws, and blocks are more realistic than ever. Infielders have new ways to rob hits, outfielders have new ways to rob home runs. There are basically new animations all over the diamond.
그 애니메이션은 모르겠는데.
At the end of the day, we make this game for you, the community, and that's why gameplay this year is more realistic than ever in MLB The Show 26. Stay tuned for the next episode of Fielding Feedback, where we'll break down everything that's new in Road to the Show. For MLB The Show 26, this is Chris Gill, Gameplay Director at San Diego Studio. See you next time.
영상은 내일 커튼콜 뭐 있다고 하니까 그것까지 해서 올리면 될 것 같고. 자, 그러면 필딩 피드백 영상, 게임 플레이 이번에 나온 트레일러라고 해야 될까요? 필딩 피드백 영상을 스크립트를 따로 따서 번역을 했습니다. 유튜브 스크립트가 이제 자동으로 생성되는 거를 AI 번역을 돌린 건데, 그래서 이게 좀 정확하지는 않을 수가 있어요. 자동 생성 맞지? 그래서 이제 그 부분은 일단 참고를 해주시고, 일단 SDS의 게임플레이 디렉터 크리스 길 씨가 어떤 식으로 메시지를 전했나, 이야기를 했나, 이번 게임플레이 바뀐 점에 대해서 그 부분 한번 쭉 봅시다. 원문하고 이제 번역본 각각 준비를 했고요. 틀린 내용이 있을 수 있습니다. 뭐 AI 번역 과정에서 뭐 약간 오류가 있을 수도 있고, 그리고 유튜브가 이제 소리를 듣고 자동으로 생성된 스크립트이기 때문에 이게 잘못 좀 인식이 된 게 있을 수도 있긴 한데요. 웬만해서는 틀린 얘기는 없어요. 예. 일단 처음부터 살펴보자. 여러분 안녕하세요. 샌디에고 스튜디오의 게임플레이 디렉터 크리스 길입니다. 플레이어 여러분의 피드백에서 영감을 얻은 업데이트 내용을 소개하는 시리즈 빌딩 피드백의 새로운 시즌에 오신 것을 환영합니다. MLB 더 쇼 26을 역대 가장 몰입감 넘치고 현실적인 게임플레이 경험으로 만들어줄 멋진 신규 기능들을 살펴보겠습니다. 초반은 그냥 인사말입니다. 예. 올해의 핵심은 여러분의 손에 더 많은 권한을 부여하는 것이며, 새로움은 ABS 챌린지 시스템이 그 좋은 예입니다. 심판이 스트라이크 판정을 놓쳤다고 생각된다면 판정에 이의를 제기하세요. 이제 영상을 보면 머리 두들기잖아. 그게 이제 실제로 다음 시즌부터 도입되거든요. 이제 이번 시즌이라고 해야 되나? 저번에 보니까 오프닝 데이 50일도 안 남았다는데. 그래서 이건 이제 보게 될 장면이에요. 실제로 게임에서도 도입이 되는 거고요. ABS 챌린지. 각 팀은 경기당 2번의 챌린지 기회를 가집니다. 챌린지에 성공하면 기회는 그대로 유지되지만 실패할 경우 남은 경기 동안 해당 챌린지 기회는 사라집니다. 이거는 뭐 일반 챌린지랑 같고요. 거의. 그러니 너무 일찍 챌린지를 다 써버리지 마세요. 중요한 순간에 불리한 판정을 받을 수도 있으니까요. 클러치 이야기가 나와서 말인데, 올해는 실제 MLB 통계를 기반으로 모든 투수의 정확한 구종 구사율을 반영하여 투수와 타자 사이에 긴박한 승부를 최대한 현실적으로 만들었습니다. 그러니까 이제 이거 같은 경우에는 구종 데이터를 표시를 할 수 있는 것 같더라고. 설정해서. 특정 구종의 구사율이 낮을수록 제구가 더 어려워집니다. 덕분에 타자들은 잘 던지지 않는 구종으로 스트라이크 존을 무분별하게 공략하는 안일한 투수들에게 타격을 줄 수 있게 되었습니다. 훌륭한 투수는 컨디션이 좋을 때 굳이 구종을 남발할 필요가 없겠죠. 구종 구사율이라고 퍼센티지로 표기가 되더라고요. 카드를 보니까. 그래서 구사율이 이제 낮으면, 근데 이것도 이제 실제 반영한 거죠. 실제로도 구종 구사 많이 안 한 게 공의 위력 자체가 떨어지고 제구가 떨어질 수 있으니까. 그 부분에 대한 얘기고. 야구계 최고의 투수들은 소음을 차단하고 결정적인 순간에 최고의 공을 던질 수 있는 클러치 유전자를 가졌다고들 하죠. 올해는 베어다운 피칭을 통해 그 느낌이 어떤지 직접 경험해 보실 수 있습니다. 베어다운 기능은 중요한 순간에 투구의 정확도와 속도를 약간 더 높여줍니다. 베어다운 모멘텀을 얼마나 빨리 얻고 얼마나 많은 투구수를 비축할 수 있는지는 투수의 클러치 능력에 따라 달라지지만, 이를 언제 사용할지는 전적으로 여러분의 선택에 달려 있습니다. 초반부터 강타자를 상대할 때 사용할 것인가요? 아니면 더 전략적으로 긴박한 위기 상황을 위해 아껴둘 것인가요? 클러치 능력치가 높은 에이스 투수라도 한 번에 몇 개의 베어다운 투구만 저장할 수 있으므로 순간을 현명하게 선택하십시오. 그러니까 이거 같은 경우에는 이제 공을 던지다 보면 이게 정확히 이게 공식 방송에 내용이 더 정확하게 나오거든요. 근데 제가 영어가 짧아서 제대로 알아듣지 못했는데, 이제 게이지가 차요. 스트라이크를 던지면 게이지가 찼던가? 그래서 던지면 던질수록 게이지가 차는데, 이제 필살기 게이지가 차듯이 몇 개씩 쌓아둘 수가 있어. 그래서 그 게이지가 딱 차면 필살기를 사용하듯이 궁 터지듯이 이제 L2 버튼이었나 1 버튼이었나 해가지고 그걸 쓰더라고. 그래서 뭐 구속이라던가 제구가 더 향상되는 그런 능력이라고 할 수 있겠다. 한편 전략적인 타자들 또한 인게임 스카우팅을 위한 확장된 투구 히스토리 설정 옵션을 활용하여 클러치 상황에서 우위를 점할 수 있습니다. 이제 특정 카운트별, 좌우 타자 상대 성적별 투구 히스토리를 필터링할 수 있으며 특정 타자를 상대하는 투수의 성향까지 추적할 수 있습니다. CPU 투수들이 구속 조절, 좌우 코너워크, 결정구 활용 등 실제 MLB 투수들의 모습을 그대로 재현하기 때문에 이 도구들은 온라인 모드뿐만 아니라 오프라인 모드에서도 매우 가치 있게 쓰일 것입니다. 이거 통해서 이제 상대 투수 약간 특징이나 이런 거를 좀 알 수 있겠네. 근데 이거는 내가 보니까 조금 복잡해 보이더라고요. 이거는 만져보는 거 좀 해야 될 것 같아. 솔직히 나는 쓸지 모르겠어. 어려워 보이더라. 올해 저희는 여러분이 타석에서 집중력을 발휘해 공을 배트 중심에 맞출 수 있도록 돕는 두 가지의 새로운 존 타격 옵션을 선보이게 되어 매우 기쁩니다. 첫 번째는 빅존 히팅이라는 새로운 타격 메커니즘입니다. 기존 존 타격처럼 PCI를 공에 정확히 맞출 필요 없이 공이 통과할 것으로 예상되는 구역을 선택하기만 하면 됩니다. 구역을 올바르게 선택하고 타이밍을 맞추면 정타를 만들어낼 수 있습니다. 이거 같은 경우에는 이제 존 타격하고 디렉셔널 타격의 가운데라고 보시면 될 것 같아요. 확인을 해보니까. 근데 이것도 디렉셔널처럼 억가 많이 터질 것 같은데 쓰다 보면. 근데 저 같은 경우에는 이제 최근에 존 타격을 시작을 했는데 너무 어렵긴 하더라. 대인전에선 난 못하겠더라. 펠릭스 바티스타 공 못 치겠더라. 그래서 저같이 좀 존 타격이 익숙하지 않은 유저들한테는 좀 구원의 손길이 될 수도 있지 않을까 싶어요. 개인적으로 전 이게 굉장히 마음에 들었어요. 빅존은 난 도입을 잘했다고 봐. 그러니까 나 같은 유저들이 분명 있거든. 존 타격이 너무 어렵고 그렇다고 디렉 타격을 하기에는 디렉 솔직히 너무 별로거든. 그냥 가차야. 그거 타격 가차야. 타이밍 맞춰서 가차하는 거야. 그래가지고 그 가운데 타협안이 있으면 좋겠다는 생각을 한 번쯤은 하게 되는데 그게 이제 이거라고 난 생각을 해. 나쁘지 않은 것 같아요. 컨택 능력치가 높을수록 해당 존 안에서 더 넓고 견고한 커버리지를 가질 수 있습니다. 이것도 이제 마찬가지로 이제 PCI로 작동을 하죠. 그러니까 사용 자체는 내가 어떤 구역을 설정을 해서 타격을 하는 식이지만 결국 이것도 PCI에 따라서 타구 질이나 이런 부분이 결정이 된다. 타이밍도 중요하겠고요. 다음은 픽스드 존 히팅입니다. 플레이트의 특정 부분에 집중하여 타석 내내 PCI를 그 위치에 고정해 둘 수 있는 새로운 기능입니다. 이건 잘 모르겠어. 이건 좀 새로운 방식의 존 타격인데 엠부시랑 같이 쓴다는 이야기가 이제 계속 있고요. 좀 존 타격에서 좀 더 나아가고 싶은 사람들이 사용을 하면 좋을 것 같아. 작년에 도입된 엠버시 히팅과 새로운 PCI 감도 설정 기능을 함께 활용하면 타석에서 자신만의 개인화된 접근 방식을 정립하고 세밀하게 조정할 수 있는 기회가 그 어느 때보다 많아질 것입니다. 그러니까 PCI 감도 설정도 이번에 나왔거든요. 이거는 사실 작년부터 나왔던가 소식이? PCI 감도 이야기는 되게 빨리 이 사람들이 이야기를 했어요. 그러니까 계속 유저들이 어떻게 타격을 좀 더 쉽게 접근할 수 있을까에 대한 생각은 하긴 하는 것 같아. 게임이 이제 뭐 드라마틱한 변화가 없다, 게임이. 그런 부분은 있긴 하지만 그래도 어느 정도 생각은 있는 것 같긴 하더라고. 그래서 감도 같은 경우에는 난 나쁘지 않은 것 같아요. 이거는 꼭 필요했어. 수비 측면에서는 일반적인 좋은 수비수와 골든글러브급 수비수를 차별화하기 위해 많은 노력을 기울였습니다. 그 결과 앞, 뒤, 좌우 모든 방향으로 공을 쫓아가는 동작에 대한 반응 능력치를 세분화했습니다. 또한 투수들에게 새로운 능력치를 부여하고 포수들에게는 팝타임 능력치를 추가했습니다. 저희는 이러한 능력치에 가치를 더하고 카드의 다양성을 높이며 게임 전반의 현실성을 높이기 위해 실제 선수 데이터를 지속적으로 통합하고 있습니다. 전에도 수비 능력치 관련해서는 코멘트가 있었던 걸로 기억을 해요. 제가 그렇게 세세하게 살펴보진 않았는데, 그래서 전 솔직히 말하면 이 부분은 좀 많이 못 믿겠어요. 그러니까 이 부분 같은 경우에는, 그러니까 공식 방송에서 이제 그걸 이야기를 했어요. 이제 앞뒤 좌우, 그러니까 리액션, 그 앞뒤 좌우 능력치에 따라 리액션이 얼마나 perfect, good, 뭐 뭐라고 해야 되지? 선수의 반응이 어떻게 갈리냐? 그런 부분이 달라진다고 하긴 하더라고. 그 퍼센트로 나왔거든, 공식 방송에서. 모르겠다 근데. 뭐 사람들이 나중에 분석한 거 나오지 않을까? 그때 보죠. 그리고 팝타임 능력치도 공식 방송에서 좀 설명을 하던데, 이제 팝타임 같은 경우에는 전에도 얘기했듯이 이거는 쿼크로 원래 있긴 했거든. 근데 능력치로 세분화를 한 거야. 그러니까 포수가 도루 저지를 하는 데 있어서 이 게임에서 영향을 주는 능력치가 암스트렝스하고 아마 액슈얼리밖에 없었잖아. 근데 뭐 이거 한번 잘한 것 같은데? 게임에 영향을 크게 줄 수 있다면 잘한 것 같아요. 근데 이것도 봐야 돼. 까봐야 알아. 그리고 이 부분은 솔직히 나 안 믿거든? 근데 뭐 일단 본인들이 추가를 했다고 하니까 한번 봅시다. 저희에게 게임 플레이는 매우 중요하기 때문에 필드 위 플레이의 시각적 퀄리티를 강조하며 약 500개의 새로운 게임 플레이 애니메이션을 다시 한번 추가를 했다는 내용이 있는데요. 진짜 엄청 세부적인 변화인가? 500개의 애니메이션. 너무 세부적인 변화라서 내가 눈치를 못 채는 건가? 아까 공식 방송 보니까 난 모르겠던데. 내야에서 보여줄 수 있는 새로운 송구 동작들을 기대해주세요. 팔각도, 중심을 잃은 상태에서의 송구 등 더블 플레이를 완성하는 과정이 그 어느 때보다 즐거워질 것입니다. 포수 시스템도 완전히 개편했습니다. 이제 대부분의 포수가 한쪽 무릎을 꿇고 자세를 잡으며 투수에게 공을 되돌려주거나 견제구, 도루저지 송구, 그리고 블로킹 동작들이 그 어느 때보다 현실적으로 구현되었습니다. 그렇대요. 난 모르겠어. 뭐 추가를 하긴 했겠지. 내야수는 안타를 가로채는 새로운 방식을, 외야수는 홈런을 훔치는 새로운 방식을 갖게 되었습니다. 기본적으로 다이아몬드 경기장 곳곳에 새로운 애니메이션이 적용되었습니다. 외야수 홈런 훔치는 모션 같은 경우에는 공식 방송에서 나왔는데요. 솔직히 전 못 느꼈어요. 똑같았어요, 제가 보기에는. 근데 내 눈이 삐꾸인 걸 수도 있어요. 크게 안 느껴졌어요, 저는. 결국 저희는 커뮤니티인 여러분을 위해 이 게임을 만듭니다. 이것이 올해 MLB 더 쇼 26의 게임 플레이가 그 어느 때보다 현실적인 이유입니다. 이거는 커뮤니티인 여러분을 위해 게임을 만듭니다. 민심 많이 안 좋던데, 국내외로. 민심 관리 더 잘해야 될 것 같은데. 로드 투 더 쇼의 새로운 소식을 자세히 다룰 다음 필딩 피드백 에피소드도 기대해주세요. 이건 아마 다음 주가 될 것 같아요. 지금까지 샌디에고 스튜디오의 게임 플레이 디렉터 크리스 게일이었습니다. 다음에 뵙겠습니다. 근데 이제 내가 이번에 되게 좀 인상적으로 본 거는 빅존 타격. 빅존 타격이 저는 굉장히 좀 인상이 깊었어요. 왜냐면 저 같은 경우에는 존 타격을 작년 말부터 시작을 했어요. 계속 디렉만 하다가 디렉만 고집을 했어요. 그러니까 나는 피지컬이 안 돼 이러면서 계속 디렉만 고집을 했는데 그 중간에 절충안이 나왔다는 부분이 나는 좋은 것 같아. 물론 이게 진짜 게임 안에서 어떤 식으로 작동을 할진 봐야겠지만 이 부분은 또 마음에 들고요. 그리고 능력치 이제 시스템이 좀 개편이 된 거, 그 부분도 마음에 들어요. 보니까 투수 능력치에서 H4-9하고 K4-9이 원래는 하나였는데 좌타자 상대 그리고 우타자 상대로 세분화가 됐다는 점, 이 부분은 솔직히 전 마음에 들었어요. 이전에는 타자의 PCI가 본인의 능력치에 따라서 이제 본인의 능력치에 따라 영향이 뭐라고 해야 되냐, PCI에 영향을 주는 요소가 타자의 좌우 컨택트 능력치밖에 없었잖아. 물론 비전도 있긴 하지만. 근데 이제 투수도 이 부분에 대해서 영향을 줄 수 있다는 거야. 투수는 이때까지 영향을 줄 수 있는 게 레프티 매치업이나 라이티 매치업을 했을 때 타자가 느끼기에 불편하다. 그러니까 좌타 상대할 때 타자가 느끼기에 더 불편하잖아. 그러니까 그 부분밖에 없었던 거야. 투수가 영향을 줄 수 있었던 건. 근데 이제 능력치에 이게 반영이 되면서 게임에 직접적으로 영향을 줄 수 있게 된 거죠. 이 부분도 난 나쁘지 않았던 것 같아요. 그래, ABS 챌린지 나는 괜찮은 것 같아. 이거는 그냥 이거 실제로 도입한 거잖아. 실제로 지금 이제서야 좀 도입하는 느낌이 강하긴 한데, 지금이라도 도입한 게 어디야. 게임에서도 뭐 도입이 된 거고. 그래, 막 엄청 잘했어 이 정도는 아니지만 나쁘지 않았다. 그러니까 게임 플레이적인 측면만 봤을 때는 나름대로 뭔가를 생각을 하긴 했다. 그 정도. 막 민심이 날아갈 정도의 뭐 게임 플레이 옵션 수정은 아니었던 것 같다. 다른 부분이 문제겠지만요. 그래서 여기까지 마무리를 하고요. 그리고 아까 뭐였죠? 스케줄에 나와 있었는데. 위클리 커튼콜 게임 플레이, 이 부분도 알아봐야 될 것 같아요. 근데 이 부분은 내일이야. 오늘은 여기까지야. 그래서 일단 여기까지 살펴보면 될 것 같고요. 다음 주에는 이제 RTTS 관련으로 이제 또 뭐 정보를 들고 온대. 그 부분 좀 다뤄보도록 할게요. 여기까지 하겠습니다.